In this module, we will talk about rice cultivation. How important is rice? Rice is the staple food for more than 60% of the world population. What kind of climate does rice need? Rice is grown in wet tropical climate and also grown in humid regions of the subtropics. In India, rice occupies the first position among cereals in respect to both area and production. The blue region right here is rice for both area and production. The states that produce majority of rice are Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. The features of rice are that the rice originated in the Indo-Burma region and it is a self-pollinated crop. Self-pollination is a transfer of pollen from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower. As you can see in the image right here, this is the anther of the flower and the pollen is falling to the stigma of the same flower. This activity is referred to as self-pollination. Sometimes the pollen is transferred from the anther of the flower to the stigma of a genetically identical flower of the same plant or clone. Rice stem is called haulm or culm. So this stem that we see right here is called a haulm or a culm. A spikelet is a floral unit which consists of two sterile lemmas, a lemma, a palea, and the flower. This image shows us what a panicle or inflorescence is. The inflorescence of rice plant borne on terminal shoot is called a panicle. In simpler words, it is the top part of the plant as we can see in the image right here. Rice is a C3 short day plant and requires hot and humid climate. C3 plants are most common and are most efficient at photosynthesis in cool, wet climates. C3 plants utilizes the C3 carbon fixation pathway as the sole mechanism to convert CO2, which is carbon dioxide, into an organic compound which is called 3-phosphoglycerate. Short day plants are those plants which flower when the day length is less than plant's critical photo period. This condition usually occurs in the autumn and winter season, which is the fall season, when daylight lasts less than 12 hours or so. They are unable to flower during long days with extreme amounts of sunlight or when exposed to a great deal of artificial light, which implies that short day plants cannot grow in too much light. Rice is semi-aquatic plant which is best grown under submerged conditions. As shown in the picture on the screen, the soil that we grow rice in should be submerged under water. Next question is of soil. What is the kind of soil needed for rice? The most suitable soils are the heavy black soils, clay, loam soils found in the delta regions. The most suitable pH range for rice cultivation is 5.5 to 6.5. Soil pH is a measure of acidity and alkalinity in soils. pH level ranges from 0 to 14, with 7 being neutral, below 7 being acidic, and above 7 being alkaline. Optimal pH range for most plants is between 5.5 and 7.0. And for the rice plant, it is 5.5 to 6.5. The land in rice cultivation should be plowed in summers to economize the water requirement for the initial preparation of land. We need to flood the field for 1 to 2 days before plowing to allow the water to get soaked in. As we can see on the screen, the ploughing is being done and then it is being flooded with water for the water to get soaked in. The next thing we will talk about in rice cultivation are the growing seasons. Growing seasons are the part of year during which local weather conditions permit normal plant growth. It indicates the duration from land preparation to harvesting of the crop from beginning till the end. There are 3 growing periods for rice. They are called Kharif, which is from June to November, Rabi, which is from December to April, and Summer, which is from March to June. In Andhra Pradesh, there are 3 growing seasons and there are 5 zones in which rice crop can be grown. The 3 growing seasons in Andhra Pradesh are Kharif, Rabi, and Summer. The first 2 zones are Krishna and Godavari zones. Krishna and Godavari zones consist of Krishna, Guntur, Prakasam, East Godavari and West Godavari districts. The normal rainfall for this region ranges from 600 to 1200 mm. The third zone in Andhra Pradesh is called North Coastal Zone, which constitutes of Srikakulam, Vizianagaram and Vishakhapatnam. The normal rainfall for this area ranges from 1000 to 1100 mm. The third area in Andhra Pradesh is called the less rainfall zone, which constitutes of Kurnool and Anantapur. The average rainfall ranges from 500 to 670 mm. And the last zone under Andhra Pradesh is called a South Zone, which constitutes of Chittoor, Kadapa and Nellore. In South Zone, the normal rainfall ranges from 600 to 1000 mm. Now, in each of these zones, for each of the growing season, there are important varieties which we are going to study one by one. So, for the Kharif season, which is also called the Sarva season, in Krishna Godavari zone, the important varieties are Swarna or MTU 7029, Indra or MTU 1061, Vijetha or MTU 1001, Ganga, Gaurav, Chandani, BPT 5204 and MTU 1075. The next zone which we'll study is the North Coastal Zone. In North Coastal Zone, the crops which are planted in the Kharif or the Sarva season, the important varieties are Srikakulam, Sannalu or RGL 2537, MTU 7029, Ganga, Gaurav, Chandani, Vasundhara or RGL 2538, BPT 3291 and MTU 1001. In the less rainfall zone, for the crops which are planted in the growing season Sarva or Kharif, the important varieties are Savitri or CR1009, Ganga, Gaurav, Chandani, Sriranga or NLR 28523. In the south zone of Andhra Pradesh, for the growing season Kharif or Sarva, the important varieties are BPT 5204, BPT 3291 and Nellore Mashuri or NLR 3449. Now we study all the important varieties in all the same zones which lie under the Rabi season or Dhalwa. For the Krishna Godavari zones, for the rice crop which is grown in Rabi or Dalwa season, the important varieties are Katandora, Sanalu or MTU 1010, Ganga, Gaurav, MTU 1001, IR 64, NLR 3041 and NLR 3449. For the north coastal zone of Andhra Pradesh, for the growing season of Dalwa or Rabi, the important varieties are Pushkala or RGL 2624, Ganga, Gaurav, MTU 1010, MTU 1001, MTU 1156 and IR64. For the south zone of Andhra Pradesh for the growing season Rabi or Dalwa, the important varieties are Swarnamukhi or NLR 145, Ganga, Gaurav, MTU 1001, MTU 1010 and NLR 34449. Next zone, which is the less rainfall zone of Andhra Pradesh for the growing season Rabi or Dalwa, the important varieties are Nandhyala, Sanalu, NDLR 8 and MTU 1010. Now we study similar varieties for the Telangana state. For the Telangana state, we only have two growing seasons, which are Kharif and Rabi. Kharif growing season in the Telangana state is Varshakalam and Rabi growing season in Telangana state is called Yasangi. And we have three areas that Telangana state can be divided in, which are North, Central and South. The North Telangana zone of Telangana state constitute of Karimnagar, Nizamabad and Adilabad. The normal rainfall ranges from 900 to 1150 mm. The Central Telangana zone are Warangal, Khammam and Medak. In Central Telangana zone, the normal rainfall ranges from 800 to 1150 mm. And the districts which are covered under the South Telangana zone are Mehboob-Nagar, Nalgonda, Rangareddy and Hyderabad. And the normal rainfall ranges from 500 to 670 mm. The important varieties which are growing in the growing season Kharif or Varshakalam in the North Telangana zone are BPT 5204, Jagatiyala Mashuri, Telangana Sona or RNR 15048, Ganga, Gaurav, Chandani, Batukamma or JGL 18047 and MTU 1010. For the Central Telangana zone, for the crops growing in the Kharif or Varshakalam season, the important varieties of rice are Siddhi BPT 5204, Ganga, Gaurav, Chandani, Somanath, Bhadrakali, Varangal Sanalu, RNR 15048, JGL 18047 and MTU 1010. And for the south zone of Telangana state, for the rice growing in Kharif or Varshakalam season, the important varieties are BPT 5204, Jagatiyala Mashuri, MTU 1001, Ganga, Gaurav, Chandani, JGL 18047, RNR 15048, Telahumsa and MTU 1010. Now for the Rabi season or Yasangi season, the varieties which are important for the North Telangana zone, Central Telangana zone and South Telangana zone are all the same, and they are Anjana or JGL 1118, Ramappa or WGL 23985, Seethal or WGL 283, Pradyumna or JGL 17004, Tilahamsa or RNR 10754 and Yeramalelu or WGL 20471. Each variety of rice has some unique characteristics and the time it takes to grow. The growth duration will also depend upon the season it is planted in. Yield potential of each variety also varies. The varieties we'll talk about in detail one by one. The first variety we will be talking about is called Samba Mashuri or BPT 5204. This variety can be planted both in Kharif and Rabi. This variety when planted in Kharif season takes 145 to 150 days to mature and in Rabi takes 135 days to mature. Samba Mashuri gets a yield of 25 quintal per acre. And the characteristics of Samba Mashuri are that it is a super fine rice which has good cooking quality. It is low on glycemic index, which implies that it is preferred by diabetic patients as well. Glycemic index or GI is a relative ranking of carbohydrate in foods according to how they affect blood sugar level or blood glucose level. Carbohydrates with a low GI value 55 or less are more slowly digested, absorbed and metabolized and cause a lower and slower rise in blood glucose and therefore insulin levels. But the negative about this variety is that it is highly susceptible to pests and diseases. This variety can be grown both in Kharif season and in Rabi season. The next variety that we will talk about is called Vijeta or MTU 1001. This variety can also be planted both in Kharif and Rabi. This variety, when planted in the Kharif season, takes 135 days to mature and in Rabi takes 125 days to mature. Vijeta gets a yield of 25 to 32 quintals per acre, and the characteristics of Vijeta is that it is lodging resistant, it is also susceptible to zinc deficiency, and it is resistant to BPH and the disease blast. The next variety that we'll talk about is called Swarna or MTU 7029. This variety can only be planted in the Kharif season and takes 150 days to mature. Swarna gets a yield of 30 quintals per acre, and the characteristics of Swarna are that it is suitable for various soils and agroclimatic conditions. It has fine grain and gives consistent high yield rice cropping system. The next variety that we will talk about is called Nellore Mashuri or NLR 34449. This variety takes 125 days to mature and gets 32 quintals per acre. The characteristics of this variety are that it is suitable for late Kharif and it is lodging resistant. It is a short variety in which grains look like Samba Mashuri. It is also resistant to blast. Blast is a disease of rice. The next variety is called Telangana Asona or RNR 15048. This variety also takes 125 days to mature and gives a yield of 28 quintals per acre. This variety is suitable for both Kharif and Rabi. Its grains are short and has a slender shape with good cooking quality. It is also blast resistant. The next variety is Cotton Dora Sanalu or MTU 1010. It takes 120 days to mature and gives a yield of 32 quintals per acre. The characteristics are that this variety is suitable to be planted in Rabi season. The grains are fine and long and slender. This variety is suitable for exports and this variety is resistant to BPH and also is blast resistant. The next variety is called Ganga. The duration of Ganga is 115 to 125 days for maturity. The yield that Ganga gives is 22 to 25 quintals per acre. The characteristics of this variety are that it has medium to fine grain, it has excellent cooking quality, it is logging tolerant, it carries a good market price, it is tolerant to major diseases and pests and insects, and this variety can be planted both in Kharif and Rabi season. The next variety is Gaurav. Gaurav has a duration of 115 to 120 days to mature. It gives a yield of 20 to 22 quintals per acre. The characteristics of Gaurav is that it has good cooking quality. The grain is medium coarse grain. It is lodging tolerant. It carries a good market price and it is tolerant to major diseases and insects. It is also suitable to be planted both in Kharif and Rabi season. Next one is Chandani. The variety matures in 125 to 130 days. It gives a yield of 22 to 25 quintals per acre. Its characteristics are that it has excellent cooking quality. It has a super fine grain. It carries an excellent market price. It is logging tolerant and it is also tolerant to major diseases and insects. It can only be planted in the Kharif season. With this, we have studied the varieties in detail. And now the next thing to study is how does the seeding and the spacing for rice cultivation is done. Seed rate is the amount of seed required to achieve an adequate number of plants in a given field. The seed rate requirement in transplanting is 20 to 25 kg per acre, and for broadcasting it is 24 to 30 kgs per acre. In rain-fed sowing, the seed rate requirement is 30 to 36 kgs per acre, and in SRI, which is System of Rice Intensification, the seed requirement is 2 kgs per acre. Spacing is the distance between row to row and the distance between the two plants within the row, which is generally mentioned as R into P. So R denotes the distance between the two rows. This is R. And the P denotes the distance between two plants. This is P. So typically speaking, the spacing is recorded as R into P. The common units used are centimeter, meter, and feet. For the crops planted in the Kharif season, varietal duration. Based on the duration of rice crops, varieties are grouped into long duration, medium duration, and short duration. Long duration varieties take more than 150 days to attain maturity. Medium duration varieties require 125 to 130 days to reach maturity, and short duration varieties are ready for harvesting within 125 days. For all these types of varieties, the transplanting distance during Kharif is 20 centimeter into 15 centimeter, which means that row to row distance is 20 centimeter and plant to plant distance is 15 centimeters. Number of hills per square meter should be 33. During Rabi season, long duration varieties are not advised. For medium and short duration varieties, a spacing of 15 centimeter into 15 centimeter and a plant population of 44 hills per square meter should be maintained. If rice is grown during summer, a closer spacing of 15 centimeter into 10 centimeter should be followed to maintain the plant population of 66 hills per square meter. Seed treatment is an important preventive plant protection measure through which insects, pests, and diseases are kept at bay during the initial growth period of the plant. In case we have a dry nursery, then we apply 3 grams of trophy. Trophy is a combination of carbendazim 12% and mancozeb 63% WP. WP means wettable powder, the form in which the chemical is available. We put a few drops of water on the seed to give the seed a little moisture, and then we apply trophy onto it. Because of the moisture, the powder form of trophy gets stuck to the seed, which is required. We then dry the seeds under shade and broadcast them in the nursery bed. If the nursery is a wet nursery, then we soak the seeds in a solution of trophy with water. Trophy is added at the rate of 2 gram per liter. The seeds are soaked in this solution of trophy and water for 24 hours, and then the seeds are transferred to moist gunny bags, and they are kept in the moist gunny bags for 24 hours. This process is done to improve germination. For seed treatment, Either method will be chosen depending upon whether the nursery is a wet nursery or a dry nursery. Breaking dormancy of seed. If seeds are to be used soon after harvesting, we need to break the dormancy for getting higher percentage of germination. Dormancy is a state in which seeds are prevented from germinating even under environmental conditions which are normally favorable for germination. To break the dormancy of the seed or to improve germination, we add 6.3 milliliter of concentrated nitric acid per 1 liter of water. We soak the seeds in this nitric acid and water solution for 24 hours and then we keep them in moist gunny bags. Dosage is 1 ton of FIM or 200 kgs of Mangala Biogold per 200 square meter area of nursery. We then do puddling 3 or 4 times within 10 to 12 days. Puddling is done in wet soil as we can see on the screen. After puddling, leveling is done. We need an area of 200 square meter for the nursery to produce seedlings which will be adequate for transplanting in 1 acre of the main field. We apply 5.5 kg of Jai Kisan Sampurna in the soil before putting the seeds. Jai Kisan Sampurna has the composition of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium in the ratio of 19-19-19. Additional fertilizer, which is Jai Kisan Super 16, can also be added at the rate of 1 kg per 2 guntha, which is for the entire nursery, in case of low temperatures, which is less than 15 degrees Celsius. Then we broadcast seeds in this nursery at the rate of 12.5 kgs per guntha. This means that we would need 25 kgs of seed for this nursery. The seed rate has to be just optimal because high seed rate leads to weak seedlings, whereas low seed rate makes it difficult to uproot the seedlings. While broadcasting germinating seeds in the nursery bed, we need to ensure that the water is at 1 centimeter and then after broadcasting the seeds, we withdraw the water. We need to provide adequate irrigation till the first leaf is completely open and then afterwards we need to maintain a thin layer of water. We also need to apply 2 kg of urea after 12 to 14 days. In case there is a zinc deficiency, then we need to spray the crop with zinc sulfate at the rate of 2 grams per liter, and also we need to spray with monosan at the rate of 1.6 milliliter per liter at 10 days. 7 days before uprooting, we need to apply forosan at the rate of 50 grams per cent, which is 250 grams for the entire nursery, by mixing it with 1 to 2 kg sand. We need to be aware of a few things while transplanting. There's a thumb rule, which is that based on the selected varieties, for each month of crop duration, nursery age should be 1 week. And while we are transplanting the seedlings from the nursery bed, the plants which are used should have 4 to 5 leaves. Based on the crop season, seedlings should be uprooted for transplanting at 21 to 25 days after sowing if the crops are of short duration varieties. If the rice crop is of medium duration variety, then we need to uproot it at 25 to 30 days after sowing. And if the crop is a long duration variety, then the transplantation should be done at 35 to 45 days after sowing. What are the suitable time for transplanting according to different zones and planting season? For the Krishna Godavari zone and Telangana zone for the Kharif season, the suitable time for transplanting is July to August, and for the Rabi season, the suitable time for transplanting is December. For the rice planted in the Kharif season, in North Coastal Zone, the suitable time for transplanting is August, and if the rice was planted in the Rabi season, then the best time for transplanting is November. For the rice planted in the Kharif season, in South Zone, the suitable time for transplanting is September. For the Rabi season, it is November, and for the summer season, it is April to May. And for the less rainfall zones, if the rice is planted in the Kharif season, then the suitable time for transplantation is July to August. For the Rabi season, the best time for transplanting is December. While transplanting, we need to ensure that the seedlings with 4 to 5 leaves are the ones which are suitable for transplanting. We need to prepare the main field for transplantation. While preparing the main field, we need to make sure that the field is irrigated. We need to maintain standing water at 2 or 3 centimeter level for about 3 to 7 days or until it is soft enough and suitable for an equipment to be used. We then plow the field with a power tiller, attached moldboard plow or rotavator to incorporate stubbles and hasten the process of decomposition. For the germination of the seeds, we need to flood the field and keep it submerged for at least 2 weeks. Then the water needs to drain naturally to allow volunteer seeds and weed seeds to germinate. Sometimes we may need to do another tillage operation. This is dependent on weed population and soil condition. To get the field ready for transplanting, we need to do 2-3 puddlings followed by leveling. For getting a high yield and an increased use efficiency of applied fertilizers, optimum plant density should be maintained. This includes planting 2 or 3 seedlings per hill at a depth of 2.5 to 3 centimeter. We need to make alleyways after every 2 meter distance by leaving a 20 centimeter patch. This would help in better aeration, penetration of light, ease of fertilizer application, spraying of plant protection chemicals, and will also give us a healthy crop. In general, plant population density should be less during Kharif and more during Rabi. How do we do irrigation management? To provide the best growing environment of rice, we need to flood the soil continuously. At the time of transplanting and during tillering, a shallow depth of 2 centimeter water is adequate. In the time of panicle initiation stage, cyclic submergence of 5 centimeter has to be continued throughout the crop period till 10 to 12 days before harvesting. Cyclic means that we keep on flooding the land with water every time it drains out. For direct seeded rice, field should be flooded only once the plants are large enough to withstand shallow flooding. When we say large enough, we mean that the plant should be at a 3 to 4 leaf stage. The next thing we will talk about is called SRI cultivation, which is System of Rice Intensification. This method of rice plantation gives us a higher yield. It was developed in Madagascar in 1980s. This type of cultivation requires less water, less expenditure, and yet gives more yield. SRI paddy cultivation also requires less seed, only 2 kgs per acre, and it gives fewer plants per unit area, which is 25 into 25 centimeter. But SRI cultivation needs 50% more man days for transplanting and weeding, and in this cultivation, 40 to 50 tillers per plant is quite attainable. Under SRI paddy fields, we don't flood the soil unlike other types of rice plantation. Instead, we keep the soil moist during the vegetative phase. And after that phase, only 1 inch of water depth is sufficient. In SRI cultivation, we use seedlings of 8 to 12 days age for transplanting. Seedlings of 10 to 12 days are at 2-leaf stage. While transplanting, we need to be careful to minimize the transplantation shock. When we remove them from nursery, we should remove the plant with the seed, soil, and roots carefully and place it in the field without plunging them too deep into the soil. We also need to maintain a wide spacing of 25 into 25 centimeter between plant to plant. To make sure that the spacing is proper, we can use a marker instrument. These images give us a better idea about SRI cultivation. We can see the seeds being sown in the nursery and how they are lifted from the nursery and how the soil is wet when we are transplanting the plants in them. Lastly, we show the weeding of rice plants under SRI cultivation. The weeding is done through a hand-driven cono weeder. A field should be kept free from weeds because no standing water and aeration is also needed for better tillering. Use cono weeder, a simple mechanical rotating hoe that churns up soil and mixes the weed in the soil at 10 days after transplanting and at 10 days interval for 3 times. We also need to provide regular irrigation to keep the soil moist but not saturated, with intermittent dryings alternating aerobic and anaerobic soil conditions. Lastly, we need to apply sufficient quantities of organic manure or FIM. Another way of cultivating rice is called aerobic rice cultivation. Aerobic rice cultivation method is practiced in places where irrigation facilities are limited and for rain-fed condition. The suitable varieties for aerobic rice cultivation are the ones which have deep root system and are drought tolerant and have medium duration. The names of these varieties are MTU 1001, RGL 2537, MTU 1156, BPT 5204, and MTU 1010. There are 7 steps to aerobic cultivation. We start by discussing how the field is prepared by ploughing, what the seed rate should be, then how the broadcasting is done. We then go on to discussing fertilizer management, weed management, irrigation management, and finally what the yield should be. To prepare the land for aerobic rice cultivation, we plough the land 3 to 5 times to obtain fine tilth by utilizing monsoon rains and to minimize the weed growth. Then we apply recommended basal fertilizers during last ploughing. Leveling of land is important to get better germination and uniform growth. The seed rate required for aerobic rice cultivation is 16 kgs per acre. And we need to ensure that the seed treatment is done before sowing. The seeds are sowed directly in the land and it doesn't go through the nursery way. The treatment of seeds once done, then the seeds can be broadcasted directly or can be dropped behind the plough or tractor seed drill at 20 cm distance or with drum seeder. We need to avoid deep sowing. Seeds should be sown in top layer of soil at a depth range of 2.5 to 5 cm. Deep sowing decreases the germination percentage. For fertilizer management, we apply NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium as per the recommended dose. Total phosphorus should be applied as basal during the last ploughing. Potassium should be applied in 2 equal splits one split at the last plowing and the other at panicle initiation. Nitrogen should be applied in 3 splits, which is at 15 days after sowing, at tillering, and at panicle initiation stage. We need to make sure that we apply 25% more nitrogen than normal dosage. Iron deficiency is often observed in aerobic rice. For this deficiency to be managed, we spray the crops with ferrous sulfate at the rate of 5 grams per liter when we observe the deficiency symptoms. Or we can apply Bhushakti at the rate of 10 kg per acre as basal. Weed problem will be more in aerobic cultivation. For weed management, we mix oxadiagrel 80% WP at the rate of 35 grams per acre in 200 liters of water. And then the solution is sprayed on the crop field within 2 to 3 days after sowing. 30 days after sowing, we spray the crops with a solution of water and Novalt at the rate of 100 milliliter per acre. We mix Novalt in 200 liters of water. To maintain the moisture levels in the field, we need to provide irrigation at 7 to 10 days interval. This is to avoid moisture stress during critical stages. With this way of cultivation, up to 90% of transplanted crop yield can be achieved. For rice cultivation, there are few points which need to be kept in mind. The few do's and don'ts. We should use a flat pan nozzle or flood nozzle to spray the herbicides. We should maintain 5 cm deep water during the reproductive and grain formation stage. We also need to keep in mind that we don't apply zinc sulfate with phosphorus fertilizers. A minimum of 3-day gap should be maintained. We should also take care to not mix insecticides and fungicides with zinc sulfate solution. We should not spray herbicide if rain is expected within 6 hours. And we also need to avoid the use of granular pesticides from booting stage. So with these things, the last thing in rice cultivation module is harvesting. Harvesting should be done by drying the field when 70 to 80% of the seeds in a panicle turn to yellowish color and the moisture is 18 to 24%. Thank you.